Welcome everyone to the Every Week We Follow fan channel on YouTube. Today we are going to be talking about finally a Villa win.
Every week we follow the boys in claret and blue. Yes,
We conquered Europe at
come
one
on.
point apparently as well.
Well, yeah, allegedly.
Finally a win. Finally, we needed a win regardless. But
9
let me just
games it
quickly
took
ask you,
us.
Gary, how are you today?
I'm good, mate. How are you? I feel better. I do.
Yeah.
I won't say excited yet. I might feel excited after tomorrow, but I feel after that, particularly first half performance on Wednesday, if we're going to go straight into it, I thought we came out the blocks for the first time in a long time, and we scored first.
So I didn't realize actually. I saw this actually on the 1874 because I watched their recap this morning, and someone said actually because we scored first against Spurs.
Oh God, yeah.
But I don't remember that. So I think that was the last time we scored first was against Spurs. But obviously we got battered 4-1.
Yeah, well, that's an away game. Doesn't count. If we're talking about just purely at home, it's felt like forever. Do you know
I
what I
think the
mean?
last time we scored first then at home was probably Bologna, I guess, because obviously we won 2-0.
Okay. Again, Champions League. What about in the league?
Oh no, now you're asking, mate. No,
Yeah. I'm just saying it doesn't just spring to mind. It doesn't pop in there and go, oh yeah, we've.
I can't remember many goals. I mean, I've obviously we're both season ticket holders, and I haven't been able to make many of the Premier League games at home. I think I went to Arsenal.
He's a prawn sandwich boy.
I went to Arsenal, and then Champions League, and then I went to Palace.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen us win at home.
Ooh.
So Palace was the first Premier League goals I saw at home.
Yeah. I mean, it was Wednesday is one of those where I think it was just we had to win. But I said to you, if you didn't know that I was scared, that I thought the way that Brentford play.
Yeah,
I expected more from them. I thought Brentford were really poor on the night.
I agree. Now I can't work out whether that was them being poor or whether that was a bit of we stopped them playing and we just, when the team goes 3-0 up, what was it? 3 goals in 15 minutes.
We blew them away. I think like I say, we actually started well, and I expected them to park the bus and hit us on the counter attack with Wissa and Mbomo, and they just didn't do it, or they didn't do it well enough, and we were able. And I think two reasons. I thought Kamara and Rodgers in the first half, in particular, were brilliant in terms of just playing between the line. Like Kamara did it numerous times, even for his goal, where he turned two players through that 5-yard pass, and then we were on them, and they were just not set, and that kind of enabled us to create chances. And obviously, the first goal was a wonder goal. It was a brilliant strike. It really was.
It's the hair.
It's all about the hair. Yeah,
glowing hair. It put all their defenders off. The keeper couldn't see, and it just top corner. Yeah, very good finish.
Eminem apparently, I read on somewhere online that he did that because he lost the bet to Cole Palmer, because Cole Palmer had basically wound him up, and they were talking about he hadn't scored against the Villa, and obviously
he did. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So obviously
similar goals. Actually.
Yeah, very similar. So right, if that works, he can dye his hair, even though it looks like a complete muppet. Right, he can absolutely dye his hair any colour he wants.
But let me just ask you about. So let's go a little bit chronologically. So the lineup came out. Yeah. It was. I was very surprised to see Mings. Obviously, after the last time we spoke, I was like, I don't think he's playing again. And then next minute,
going in January. Bye, Tyrone. Well, when the lineup come out, I were, straight away you get that nostalgic feeling because of how well Konza and Mings were together. Just over 18 months ago. Do you know what I mean? That was for me our best centre back player, and even when we signed Torres, I think Torres was never going to be the main man. I think he would have grown into it, but obviously because of Mings' injury, he was thrown into it. So I was pleasantly surprised, but also nervous because of obviously what had happened in the Champions League and just lack of game time, and you think about the pace. But I have to say, and I know Brentford, whether we were just brilliant or Brentford were poor, with Mings, we just looked more solid. Like, because and throughout the whole game, the reason that for me, well, that was because he's no nonsense. He's a better defender than Pau Torres. He's not probably the ball player that Pau Torres is, but he heads everything. He throws everything into the line, and numerous times, he did that. Don't get me wrong, he made a couple of mistakes, right? But overall, Cons looked more comfortable next to him as well, and we just didn't look like we were going to concede in the first half anyway. And I think not just like with any team, you go 3-0 up. I think second half we took a foot off the gas, and we weren't. It was a kind of a boring second half, if I'm honest, apart from the Watkins miss, which we could talk about in a minute.
We'll talk about that in a bit. Don't worry, you can get to your usual Watkins rant.
Watkins bash. That's a little segment with I want a total coming in. Watkins bashing moments coming.
So just on Mings, you were saying like he's not as good with the ball at his feet. He is actually pretty good. He doesn't play the same passes Torres plays. So Torres plays, I find, like cutting into the midfield. So he'll play straight through into the number 10 through.
He'll try and break the lines, Torres will.
Whereas Mings is incredibly good with that usual diagonal ball he'll play.
Yeah.
He played a great ball. I remember he played a fantastic ball over to Dean out on the left wing. And he does. He plays those really good direct over the top balls, which maybe, maybe that maybe Brentford played into his hands a bit there because they were pressing us like really high.
Yeah.
And they were trying to and we just kept on beating their press. We just go long over the top.
Yeah. Like I say, I think overall the back four looked a bit more balanced. It enabled both Digne and Cash to get forward a little bit more.
What do you think he does on Saturday?
I would keep it as it is. I'm old-fashioned, mate. I think if you've got a winning team and it works, like you've earned your place, so you go again. And until it doesn't work, and you try it, and that's the whole point of having a squad. Like if it's working, and you look at the balance of play of the Brentford game to what will be the Southampton game, it won't be too dissimilar, mate. Southampton will play a very similar kind of setup in trying to frustrate us with trying to break with Cameron Archer. So I'd keep it as it is. I don't think you change a winning team. That's just me. I think you'll have Champions League Tuesday in mind, obviously, as well. So I think he could well keep the same and probably start Torres against Leipzig. That will be...
Is that this Tuesday?
Yes. 10th.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gee, for some reason, I thought it was like another week.
No.
Oh, right. No, yeah, maybe it makes sense, actually, if he plays Mings again. Save
I don't think after his handball in the Champions League he's going to get any Champions League minutes. Maybe that's the...
I mean, yeah, I'm still amazed that he played him. But to be fair, I mean, I thought Mings was arguably man of the match, like kind of level. I think there was a few players that could have been man of the match, really. Rodgers did have a very good game. I thought Kamara was very good.
Yeah.
I actually thought Cash was really solid. Obviously, he got his goal as well.
Took his goal.
Which is very good. But
he's back is our number 2.
And in terms of the performance overall, it's like you said, we kind of took our foot off the gas in the second half. How was it at the game, actually? Because I didn't go. You went.
Okay.
How was it after their goal went in?
I have to say it was very subdued. Okay, so because when you compare like the Champions League nights to just the average league game, like it feels very lethargic. And once they scored, I mean, even I was sat there going, it's going to be 3-3. It's going to be 3-3. Like they're going to get another one. And even in the 90th minute, someone said to me, the guy who sits next to me was like, "Hey, you feeling confident yet?" I was like, "No, I'm not." It was
3-1 off in the 90th minute.
And I'm truly, this is PTSD from the last 5-10 years, mate, of kind of like Dean Smith kind of Wolves scenario. When you're doing, and it just, I get it. I have horrible flashbacks.
I feel like I'd kind of got over that. And then I think the Brentford game, the Bournemouth game is what really because we've been so good at seeing games out. We've been so good at just like not doing a Villa, and actually like seeing stuff out. And then that game happened, and they've been so fragile since. 3-1, and what was it, about 65th, 70th minute, around there, something like that. And
Yeah.
there was a 15-minute period where it was like, oh my God, like if they get a goal here in like the 80th minute or something, this is going to be chaos, like really bad. But they didn't, and we actually kind of did a little bit of the dirty stuff, which we don't tend to see. The stuff that Palace did, where breaking up like foul, getting down
just
on
cancelled
the floor.
them out, mate.
Yeah, we did a lot of that, and I was like, I don't particularly like seeing other teams do it, but I don't mind when we're doing it when we're 3-1 up. So,
well, do you know what? This is the difference between Mings and Torres. I think Mings, in that period you're talking about, I think won about 5 headers coming into the box from set pieces, from crosses in. He made 2 blocks in that time, and it like we just saw the game out ultimately, and a win's a win. Like the second half performance, I think wasn't as good as I would have liked it to have been. I would have, as Emery is old, like you say, we've seen games out pretty well, and I think because it's been 9 games without a win, we looked a little bit nervous. I think that you could see that as the game went on. And I thought if they'd scored a second goal, I think it would have been interesting. But
because Barkley came on, and usually Barkley comes on to like protect the ball, right? Usually like, okay, come on, protect the ball, slow it down, keep things ticking. Immediately gave the ball away about 3 times. Like, what are you doing? Like absolute chaos. What are you doing, mate?
I mean, I can only assume that Kamara's just not 90 minutes ready, because he for me he was one of our best players, but I guess that's only his second game starting, like something like that. I think it's kind of you've got to. We need him at all costs. He makes a massive difference playing in that holding midfield role. We've missed him. He's a Rolls Royce of a player. He really is.
I wonder if I don't know how far Onana is off, but I wonder if he won't play Saturday and will play Tuesday.
Potentially.
That could happen. You can't be playing 3 games in like 6 days or whatever, right? Like,
all that matters, mate, it's 3 points, and it makes a massive difference.
It is. It really does. Okay, Ollie Watkins. So,
yay!
Okay, so
Ollie Watkins.
So he obviously gets the pen. So let's start there. Great ball from Bailey. I was actually like amazed by that ball. I thought ball was. I actually think Watkins did really well, taking that down, getting it in, getting to a position. Obviously, in the stadium, you couldn't see what the hell's going on. You're kind of sitting there. He goes down. You're like, it's stone walls. Got to be. Everyone goes mad.
No. I watched that man like a hawk, mate.
Have you seen the replays?
I've seen the replays, and even in real time, right? I thought that's not a penalty because he swings at the ball and completely misses it, right? At which point, maybe there's a minimal bit of contact, right? And so it just looks like a penalty. From the referee's perspective, it looks like a penalty. He takes about a minute, felt like a minute to decide. He runs from the centre circle to the penalty spot, and then gives it. He didn't give it straight away. He obviously thought about it, and obviously, it was never going to be overturned. I think it's one of those where there is minimal contact.
So at first, like when I saw the replay, I was like, this is going to be overturned because I was like, I actually, because they only showed the replay like twice on Amazon or something like that. And I was like, I can't even see where he's touched him or anything. He's just gone down. It's just egg. They then shows like a super zoom in, right? Oh, are you back?
I'm back. Sorry, that's annoying. Someone tried to ring me.
Oh, right. I think your audio's changed as well.
Did it come back?
No, it's there. It's just different quality and stuff, but it's fine. It doesn't matter.
Oh, come on. Stupid iPhone.
Don't matter. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So they showed like a massive super zoom on like the foot.
Yeah.
Now, I first thought, I was like, okay, I think what's happened is he's pulled his arm back. So he's pulled his arm back, which has put him off balance, which has made him like kick a bit dodgy. So I think there was a little bit of that, but also, and you never know how these things, because they slow them down, they zoom in, and they look on all this stuff.
Yeah.
You never know quite how it affects a player in full flight. His knee has just clipped his back foot, and you see his foot go like this.
Oh, okay.
So I actually reckon it has like knocked him off balance.
Okay.
Because like, obviously, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I'm like sitting there going, it doesn't matter how bad form you are. You're not air kicking it like that. There's no way.
Mate, that touch is not enough to miss the ball. He did. He was like But let's give him the.
When you're running at such pace, right? When you're running at such pace like that, the slightest touch can completely affect your balance. Like, and you can just end up air kicking like he did.
Well, but mate, but even at the point where the ball was played, right? Obviously, everyone stands up, and you're like, "What a pass that was!" And as soon as I stood up, I went, "Well, he's not going to score anyway." Like,
well,
and I know,
what were you saying when he took the ball for the pen?
Do you know what? because McGinn had the ball for a while, and I thought, okay, McGinn's taking it.
He takes the ball. He's the captain, and then he
it. And I was. We've said before, haven't we, off camera, that your striker should be taking penalties. So I was happy that he was taking it. Right, no problem, confidence thing. But in his stance to take it, he did not look confident. Like he could, even from behind, he looked nervous.
I think you need that. If Yuri Tielemans taking that pen, he wasn't going to be confident. He missed the weekend.
Yeah. So, it's one of them, and the pressure's on. It's a chance to kind of double the lead, take the pressure off a little bit, and you could see he was nervous. And mate, in all honesty, the keeper should have saved it. It was a terrible penalty.
I know he should have.
The keeper gets a full hand on it. I don't know how it trickles in, but
he didn't save it.
Goal's a goal.
I think Watkins has to take all that. I think Watkins needs to be that penalty taken out.
I agree with that.
It's it helps with just his confidence, his tally, all that kind of stuff. Like it's massive. But interestingly, I think he took a little bit of. I think they said this on one of the other podcasts. I heard. I think he took a little bit of like the England penalty practice. He like the ref blew his whistle.
Yeah.
Then took like 2 big deep breaths, and 5 or 6 seconds before he then started.
Yeah.
So I think he took a little bit of that. He's obviously been practicing with England, right? So I reckon there's a little bit in that. But yeah, you're right. Like he's done the stutter, which usually he sent the keeper the wrong way, and he's ended up going straight exactly where he's gone. It's like, oh God.
In real time, it felt like he waited for the goalkeeper to dive and then hit it at his hand. And you just go, okay. If he was really confident, that's a terrible penalty. But goal's a goal.
He was a bit sheepish about it. He was kind of like,
"What did you see? Do you see his face? There's a brilliant still. It's like it's just
it's very much a case of wow, I got away with one there."
Yeah, the relief, mate. The relief. So 2-0, happy days.
Okay. And then, obviously, he gets a brilliant chance.
I've got to talk about. Look, the Watkins bashing is going to commence, but I have to go on record and state I can't fault the guy for work rate and effort, and he brings so much to the team. But we've talked about this, and we're not the only ones that talk about this. But strikers have to score goals. Mm-hmm. They have to, right? And thankfully, I think we're 3-0 up at the time, and there's somebody at the door. Right. Surprise! It's Ollie Watkins. He's going, surprise guest, everybody. No, and it's a bad pass back from their player. He's through 1-on-1, and where we sit, lower Trinity, on the edge of the 18-yard back, mate, I couldn't have had a better view of it. And all I could see was the bottom right-hand corner. And I'm thinking, you can use both feet. Just transfer the weight onto your right foot and curl that into the bottom corner. And as soon as he set himself, I thought, he's just going to blast it. He did what he did against Chelsea. He doesn't look up. He's looking at the ball. And in his head, he's probably just thinking, I'm just going to get this on target. Because I'm convinced he's got some sort of shot on target bonus. Right, because that's
I think with the confidence of how I think we spoke about this just before we started. I think just with the confidence of how he is at the moment and how I think his confidence is low. I think he was just hit the target, don't miss the target, just hit it with power at the target. And
okay, but this is what happens when he does things like this. This is my reaction. It's like. When you can't get words I'm sat there in the seat. My head, I'm just my veins popping. He's going to cause me an aneurysm, mate. Just put the ball in the back of the net. Like just
Well,
like,
you say this, right? But like,
because it's that easy. Yes, but he's hit that on the spin. It's a through ball, and he's hit it with the right motion. Where Watkins has got time. Like he's through. He's got time to adjust. And it's a confidence thing. If he scores, he's the best player in the world to me. Do you know what I mean? But he didn't, so now I'm criticising him.
If he's fully firing, confident, that goes in. I think when he's not confident, I think he's almost like Gabby. He's a bit of if he has to think for too long.
Yeah. He makes the wrong decision. I
forgot though, he did there was an unbelievable header.
Yes, the keeper saved. Yeah.
What I say that was because he'd ran away. You'd seen it.
Yeah.
Replay. He's running away because he's celebrating because he's like, "This is it." Unbelievable header. But
I will say this: we had moments in the second half where we did get in behind down the channels, a couple of good crosses in, and then we got in behind through the lines again, creating chances. So I think overall, even second half, although they were put us under a little bit of pressure, we had the better of the chances and probably should have won the game 4 or 5-1. But it's one of those. A win. That win is massive, and hopefully it takes us into tomorrow with confidence to kind of get the same result. Because 2 wins on the spin will be massive, I think, and we'll be right back in the mix. And I know we've got a difficult week coming up after that, like with Leipzig and Forest away. But point away at Leipzig, point away at Forest. I'd take both for those. I think would be brilliant. Obviously, I'd love to win them both, but our squad is looking thin. And there'll be sterner tests than Brentford. Brentford didn't play with a high tempo. Didn't restrict us the way other teams have, like Palace did, for instance, in the Palace game. Like we didn't have a sniff because they were so well organised, 8 men behind the ball. We didn't get those little pockets, and we did against Brentford. So,
because they do play on the front foot. They were maybe actually. I don't know how they usually play away from home, but obviously at home they are a whole different ball game. But I wonder if I don't know if they actually tried to play more on the front foot against us because they were like, we need to do something different.
Yeah, well, it's fascinating because obviously their home and away form is chalk and cheese, isn't it? They haven't won away from home.
At home, so unbelievable. I mean, they were like, I think if they won, they were going to be like 6th or something like that. They're absolutely And considering they've got. I think them and Southampton have got the worst away form in the entire league. Their home form has to be amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. I'm just looking at our fixtures and I'm just thinking about, you were talking about like a point Leipzig and a point at Forest. No, I think if we beat Southampton and we get something at Leipzig, I think we've got to go into that Forest game looking to win that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
As in, I think. And also looking at the fixtures, I think we need to, because you're following 3 games after that: are City, Newcastle, and Brighton. And I'm
tough games.
Yeah, very tough games. Might get a win, might get a couple of draws, but I think this 3-game spell, we need to take 9 points.
Oh, mate, in an ideal world, 100%. I think the Forest game's a bit of a banana skin for us because
they're playing brilliantly.
They play really, they did it last year to us, and like I said, they play how teams have beaten us in the past. No, not saying if we turn up on the day, right, and we play our game, and we can play with a little bit more tempo, and we can kind of do what we did on Wednesday and get into those little pockets of spaces, in through their midfield, then we can cause them damage. Like, they're not indestructible. They've got defensive frailties. Watched them against City, but they created again 3 or 4 great chances against City. It should have probably. Yeah, so I'm nervous about that game because I think they're playing well, and I think we'll have to wait and see. But if, like you say, get a result in Leipzig, beat Southampton, you go into that game with a bit more confidence, and confidence brews, so you don't know, do you? So it's a massive week for us. It really is. I think I said on Wednesday, knowing us before the game, we're probably going to smash Brentford today. And we'll lose to Southampton on Saturday.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like Southampton away from home have been okay. Watched them against Brighton last week. Really good, mate. They probably should have won the game. They were robbed, in fact. And they took a battering against Chelsea, but I mean, we should beat them. They've got more mistakes in them than Mings. Do you know what I mean? So I think we'll get chances. I think we should win the game, but you've got to turn up and do it. So hopefully Wednesday's given us that confidence to go and do that. I'm looking forward to it.
Just on to Saturday. So the question is,
game day.
So we were saying about Mings. We were saying you reckon keeps him in.
Yeah, I think for sure, mate. With the week coming up against Leipzig and Forest, I would 100% play him again. I think when you're coming back from injury, the one thing you need is a run of games. Do you know what I mean? It's pointless having one game and then not being involved for two, and you're never going to get back to fitness, are you? So for him, I think it's massive that he plays, and I hope that.
What about the rest of the team though? Because I'm just thinking about, like I said, generally, would you expect a team to play 3 games in 6 days, the same team, and one of those being away in Europe, the last one? Would you expect? Do you think he might make some changes? Do you think he might start Barkley, or
no? I don't think he will.
Do you think he changes Bailey out for Jadon, or
no? Don't do that. Like as bad as Bailey's.
Rodgers is tired as well. And also, by the way, on that, actually, Rodgers is tired. I actually thought Buendia looked rather tidy when he came on. Yeah.
Although, did you see a controversial thing? His little argument with Emery at the end because he didn't clap the fans. So
was that what it was?
Yeah. So Emery, it looked like. I mean, obviously, I've only seen it from a distance, so we were walking out. But
Emery was really angry with him because he took like a pot shot from like outside the box, and Emery went mental at him.
Yeah. Well, after the game, he was walking, and Emery was like signaling to go over to the fans because everybody did, and he refused to do it. And like I don't know if he's on his way out, mate. I think come January he could be a gunner. But I think you are right. I think he came on. He had a couple of good touches where he linked up well with Rodgers. Yeah. Unfortunately for Emery, he got injured at the wrong time. Last season would have been his season to shine, mate.
He looked so good pre-season.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? And I just don't think he's going to dislodge any of the other players that are playing in that position. Like if JJ's fit, he's not edging him out. He's not going to get in ahead of Rodgers. It's one of those where I think for his own career, he probably needs to look elsewhere. I'll miss him because I think there's a player in there. I just don't think he's got he's not. We'll talk about this all the time. He's not clinical enough. Like in terms of he gives the ball away sloppily at times, and then he overhits lots of passes.
He plays very high risk, which is good, but
when it comes off,
a lot of the time it doesn't come off. I think that's the problem. So he ends up giving the ball away.
Well, yeah, if you play high risk football, your percentage has got to be higher, isn't it, of success than it has defeat, and it's just not up there. I think it could be, but like I say, I think last season was the season for him to get a run of games, and he was just unlucky picking up the injury the week before the season started. So I feel for him because I like him as a character, I like him as a player. I think there is a player in there, but I think his time is done at Villa. I do.
Okay. So from goalkeeper from Martinez up to Watkins, what's your predicted 11 for tomorrow?
I mean, just to cut it short, I think it'll be the same. I think he'll keep the same team. I do. Yeah, I do. I think obviously Emmy with one hand is still better than Olsen, so he'll probably painkiller him up and keep him in there. I think Cash and Dina. Do you know what? This is the only change that I would like to see. Actually, I would make tomorrow is I'd give Dina a rest and I'd play Maatsen.
Yeah, I'd play Maatsen
because I really like Maatsen as a player, and I don't want to lose him. I think he's more than good enough to play first team football. He's rapid, and even when he came on and played left wing, he offers pace, mate. And I like him as a player. I do. What I've seen from last season at Dortmund and what I've seen in the little snippets we've seen, there's a player in there.
He's got it. I mean, he's got to start playing at some point, right? He's 35 million. It's not like
yeah.
He was a 10, 15 million pound. He was bought to play, not to come on.
Sit on the bench. Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. The
only thing that's been keeping out of the team is Dean's been so consistent. So good.
Yeah. Dean, I can't fault Dean. Like I think we talked about this last year, didn't we? Where we thought I wasn't a massive fan, and being a Gerrard player, I didn't think he would be hanging around. But to be fair to him, he's knuckled down and defensively been probably our best option in that. But I still think he doesn't offer enough going forward. He's not consistent enough with crosses and.
does get assists though. He's crossed. I mean the cross for Cash, was that him? I think was that him on the left. Well, he crossed it in. It was headed away, and then Cash got it.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. I'm not saying he doesn't do it. I'm just saying he gets into good positions lots of times. And again, the whole point of chatting about this stuff is to be hypercritical, right? These are professional footballers that practice for 6-7 hours a day, and you can't tell me when you get to a byline, you've got all the time in the world, and you can't pick out a plat. It drives me nuts. I'd be right, fine him, wage deduction. Just what are you doing? These are quality players. You put them on any kind of Sunday league pitch, they'd stand out like a sore thumb. So just when I get it when you're under pressure, but half the time they get into great positions and they've got no one within 30 yards of them, and they just take the bloody rose head, and you go, well, I could do that. Again, being hypercritical. So yeah, that would be my only change. I think everybody else, the only other thing is the Bailey Philogene debate, right? Now, Bailey had a better game on Wednesday.
Just because I'm looking at it, going, what do I want the team to be on Tuesday? That's what I'm looking at. I'm going, what do I want on Tuesday? And then I'm going, who played on Wednesday? Are they going to play again tomorrow and then play Tuesday away, traveling to Europe as well?
Yeah.
I don't think Emery will play the same team for 3 games in 6 days.
No, he won't. It all depends on Onana's availability. I think if Onana's on the bench on Saturday, for instance, I'd keep the same team. If Onana's on the bench and he comes on and gets 20 minutes at the end or whatever, right? And then I assume that's because he'll start on Tuesday, right? I think the only other chance I would possibly think, like I said, my initial thing is keep the team the same. But if we're talking about playing 3 games in 6 days, then I would possibly give Tielemans a bit of a rest to have him for Tuesday, right? And put Barkley in maybe, because he's.
Possibly. For me, the one that needs a rest is Rodgers.
Yeah, well, he's played more or less every minute, hasn't he? But the reason why that's happened is because we haven't got. There's Emmy, and this is what I'm saying. I don't think he's going to play Buendia.
You could argue you could play Tielemans there. You could play McGinn there. You could, McGinn kind of plays that role for Scotland. Yeah. And he will get in the box as well, and he running like a chicken, just runs in like. He'll do that. So I think he's got a bit of an engine on him. I think he'd be all right. But I don't know. You might be right. He might look to. I mean, last season didn't matter how many games we had. He basically played the same core 11 pretty much. So maybe he's going back to that, and he's going right. We need some consistency. We need these players to play week in, week out. So
go on. It'd be interesting. The other thing I wanted to do, just to give a shout out to Tielemans and McGinn on Wednesday, because they both run their nuts off.
Because they'll be watching this, I know. So
Well, you never know, right? But they were Tielemans in particular. He's impressed me. Not so much what he did on the ball on Wednesday, but he's worked right off the ball. That's what I want in my team, man. I want people that when we lose possession are necking it back and getting back into position and kind of breaking up play. And he did that numerous times on Wednesday. So that's why I think he probably deserves a little bit of a rest to go into Tuesday, because he's arguably one of our most experienced players going into Europe. So, and I think that the objective should be in Leipzig not to lose the game again, just get a point, because it's beats. Because it'll all gone down to that Celtic game at home. Which, by the way, they've already taken it.
We've got Monaco Celtic, haven't we?
Yeah, we got Monaco in between. But I'm just saying that I think if you could almost afford to lose that to beat Celtic at home, and that puts us on to 14 points, and I think that would be enough to get top 8. So and that would be massive. But and also naughty Villa taking the money for the Celtic game 2 months before the actual game is due to be played. Mate, they've taken it already. I'm like,
you're on the cup scheme or whatever, aren't you?
I'm on the cup scheme.
Yes, me and Pete aren't.
So I'm like, what the bejesus? Money's gone out my account. I'm like, hang on, it's not until the 29th of January.
Second of this.
When did what? Sorry.
Does it usually go?
Well, the previous games have been maybe a couple of weeks before the game.
Are the tickets available though now? Or?
Yeah, I think so. They went. I had an email. It was last week.
If the tickets are out though, they'll probably take it.
Yeah. Well, it was the 2nd of December, mate, so it was nearly a week ago.
Oh wow. Oh, okay. Wow.
But I had the confirmation email, and then it just went out a few days ago.
That's not a cheap thing to just be disappearing from your account, is it either?
Yeah. You just go, oh, okay, right. I was expecting that to be paying for that after Christmas. It's all right. The kids won't eat turkey. It's fine. We'll have chicken for Christmas this year.
Brilliant. So what's your prediction for tomorrow?
Well, because we just cannot keep a fucking clean sheet, right? And apologies for the language, but it's driving me nuts, right? I think we'll beat them 3-1.
You think another 3-1?
I think Villa another 3-1. I think we'll beat them. I do. I'm confident. I'm hoping Watkins can score another couple of goals. I want to big him up. I do. But I will always be. I'm going to try and set up a camp tomorrow to get some of my reaction to his misses, because inevitably it's going to come, and you guys are going to love it because it's comedy gold. I look like a 90-year-old man. Just everything screws up and fucking.
I'm gonna go for. I'm being confident. I'm gonna go for 2-0. I'm gonna go for 2-0. Especially if you start Mings, I think we'll be solid at the back. I think, and I reckon. My hot take is Bailey's going to get one.
Ooh, mate, he owes us. Right, we'll get to that point now where I feel like the Philip Coutinho motion. You owe me a 40-yard screamer, right? We signed you for a reason. Put it in the back of the net, and I mean like a Rodgers guy. I wanted to do what Rodgers did, just cut inside and curl it into the top corner.
He's cutting bang left. He doesn't shoot enough anymore.
Mate, where's that gone? Last season he did that 4 or 5 times, just pinged it, and you just go, where has that confidence gone? And I'm not knocking him as a player because last year he was sensational, but his confidence is rock bottom, and I don't know if
he was better yesterday.
Yeah, he was. And whether someone has slept with his wife or like he's like he's going through some bad stuff. Like, Leon, we're here for you. Like, let's talk about it. Like, this mental health thing, we're talking. Like, let's get men talking, mate. Get on here. Like, come and chat to us. We'll get you through it together. Because the most important thing is football, right?
Have you got a hot take?
My hot take: Watkins to score a hat trick.
So there you go. Watkins hat trick.
Watkins hat trick.
You've just been bashing Watkins, and your hot take is Watkins going to get a hat trick.
That's mate. I'm bipolar. What can I say? Like, I hate the man, but I've got confidence in him.
On that bombshell, then we'll probably call it a day. As always, everyone, give us a like if you like this. If you want to see more of these videos, we'll try and do these at least once a week. Obviously, this is our second one of the week. Give us a subscribe as well. We will be back on Monday with a reaction to the Southampton game and a bit of a preview for the Leipzig game.
Yes.
So we might try and get on again in the week next week, but otherwise it'll be either the week after, although I think I'm away, so I might not be able to. We might have to skip a week. It might be a post-Christmas.
Post-Christmas. Well, maybe we can do one in between the Newcastle and Brighton game. Maybe something like that. I don't know. Between Christmas.
We'll work out.
And also, at some point, we have, like, for TikTok and Facebook, just to check out some stuff on there. We'll get the links in the bio or whatever.
I'll pop
at some point.
I'll pop some links in the description. And you can check out our new TikTok and social channels as well.
Yes, let's do this. Up the Villa.
Every
week we follow the boys in Claret and Blue. Catch you next time, peeps.
Bye.